Who are you, Bryce Currie, as a leader?
I would sum it up as I'm a servant leader. I was fortunate enough to have many different mentors, particularly my dad, who didn't do command and control back in the 70s and 80s. And he was very much about diversity of talent and that you focus on the people. So who I am as a leader is I'm a servant leader. I'm trying to grow, and I believe in people, and innovation come from people if you treat them the right way.
But the way that we grew up in this industry, Bryce, I was taught and told that command and control was the way to be. And I saw example after example of success, that people who employed that command and control model were indeed successful. It didn't feel right to me. It didn't feel like it was in line with my values, and I struggled with it for many years. What did you have to unlearn from that model, given the world we're in today?
What I would say, I was fortunate enough again to, in the late 80s, to get schooled in Toyota production system, actually. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people think of Toyota production system as lean and the lean tools, but if you really get into it, it's about the culture and respect for people. And then you have to understand every culture is different. The Japanese culture is different than the Chinese, is different than the American culture. So you have to flex your system and your styles based off of the cultures that you are in. So I was lucky enough to get trained in that and to believe in that. And I actually tried to make sure my career followed the companies that had it. I have had bosses over, I could go way back, that threw stuff in meetings. Things that you say to this generation of new talent coming in, and they look at you like you're crazy, but people threw books. They yelled. The amount of curse words were intense. Yeah. So it has changed, but I still believe that there were many other leaders at that time that were very good and led in the correct way. And Jim Collins showed that in his Good to Great book, but you don't see them. They weren't the rock star. I mean, I remember back in the 90s, Al Dunlap was considered a great CEO from Sunbeam, Chainsaw Al, and people were writing books about it. And then his company completely died, right? He didn't have a culture. He had a fear culture. The ones that have stuck around for many, many years are the ones who have believed in that the people are what makes the company, and they'll follow the process, but you build it off of that culture.
Many years ago, I remember going to a Ford assembly plant, and I was a supplier rep. And back in the day, the plant managers at Ford, not just Ford, any OEM assembly plant, they were mean, nasty guys. And I remember being terrified, literally shaking as to whether or not he was going to touch my part or find a problem with my part. And it was all about fear and control, and it was about hierarchy. And now, Bryce, you've got all these plant managers around the world. You've had to change that mentality. How?
I think the first thing is, in any of the areas that I always start with my team on where are we today? Really, where are we today? And that is measured as both not just metrics, but your processes, your people talent, the infrastructure you have, how you do communication, and what's your daily cadence and your governance. And then from that, it's instilling this servant leadership. When I came to Ford, the very first thing we focused on was servant leadership. We have a whole series, and there were a lot of eyes being rolled, and because it's soft. But the servant leadership I was really serious about, we are not going to do command and control. We are not going to only go down to this level of the organization. And so what we focused on was about how are we going to change this? Some people needed to change, not that they were not the right people. I use the example sometimes, I played sports for many years. Shaquille O'Neal, one of the greatest basketball players ever. But if you put a 7'2" center on a team that runs, it might not be the right fit. Doesn't mean he was the wrong player. He's just not on the right team. This team we needed to have people that were really going to create a safe zone and create trust and create a following of how we're going to run the system and how are we going to activate the minds of our people.
That's a huge part of it. I think people miss the fact that it is about activating the minds of how many people a year, roughly?
Well over 100,000.
Well over
100,000 plus.
Well over 100,000 people.